Hi guys, right, okay, so I'm going to set the ride height now on the ST after I fitted the new coilovers. I have done a couple of little jobs since the last video. I didn't bother filming them all because just simple straightforward things. I basically changed the oil and the oil filter, and I drained the old oil out into a reasonably clean container. I ran my fingers through the tub looking for any silver in the oil, then with a magnet as well, seeing if I pick up any metal bits, which luckily there wasn't. I then tried to get into the oil filter. Took a few attempts, a little bit fiddly, but eventually I managed to get in there and remove the paper cartridge, and I just opened it up and had a little look for any signs of metal or bearing or material, and it was all good. So then I took out the wheel arch liners out of the rear, and I gave the inside tubs a bit of a wipe down, just removing any loose dirt, jet washed off the arch liners themselves, and took off the scabby old brake hose. So then I fitted the new brake lines. Now these are actually a little bit shorter than ones that I had fitted, so that was probably why it was causing it to touch the wheel a little bit, which was rubbing. So that's good, that's sorted. Right, okay, so now on to the main task, and that is to get the wheels on and get the ride height sorted out. Now obviously I could refit these wheels, the standard wheels, albeit black, to keep with the sleeper look, and yeah, just leave it at that. But I've had some wheels sat in the garage probably longer than the coilovers have been in there. So I'm going to put those on and I'm going to push outside and we will see what it looks like. And there we have it, guys. So just ignore the ride height for the time being. We will be getting into that shortly. These are Compromotive TH2s. Now, you don't very often see these wheels, and I really like the look of them. So this is what it looks like on the car. Clearly I've got some fitment issue or some ride height issues and fitment issues. But yeah, the general look of it, I'm pretty happy with. Now, whether or not I can make them work, that is a whole other story. Because yeah, I'll just get this back in the garage because it's raining, and yeah, let's have a little closer look and see what clearances we have. So with the fronts, it's going to be very, very tight. Now this is going to be the main concern. Obviously I got this huge gap here to sort out, and then the back is it's almost touching where we are. There we go, look, it's almost touching. I can barely even get a fingernail there. So the back definitely needs to be raised up a little bit. I've also got some wheel spacers or some hub spacers spacing the wheel bearing out slightly. So what I can, as you can see, the gap there, if necessary, the wheel can go back in to the arch about 12 mil, I think it is. So I should be able to create the clearance on the back if I feel it needs it, because it is, like I say, very, very close. The fronts will be the potential issue, because if these don't fit, there's not much I can do about it. You can see it with the wheel arch. Yeah, it's going to be very, very close. So what I need to do is get this down to a proper ride height, lower the fronts down, raise the fronts up, and get more of a true picture of where it stands. So starting with the back, you can see I've got the springs taken out, and the old mount, what I've done is I have measured the distance of the stops. So we're about 21 mil, and then adjusted by about 20 millimeters, hopefully. See, and then yeah, that should give me an extra 20mm of ride height, which I think will probably be enough for the back. Then lastly, with that, those adjusted up at the top there, I covered them in grease again, just to help with water protection and corrosion. On the bottom of the shock here, we've got a little adjustment knob that you can unscrew and adjust basically the height of the shock. So what I'm going to do is just adjust these a little bit longer, so that when it comes to bolting it back into the axle, it'll be a bit easier with a longer length of spring. So on to the fronts. What I'm hoping is if I can crack off the height adjustment on this shock and then just twist the whole sort of spring assembly, and it'll twist the shock down, and I can adjust it without removing it from the car. Don't know if that's going to work or not. So yeah, I'll give that a go. So moment of truth. Is it going to be too low when this comes down? Right, let's get this jack going. A bit slower than that. Now I still need to adjust the other side, so it's obviously not going to be truly accurate. But well, it didn't hit straight away, so obviously it's not too low. Probably still going more though, looking at that. Right, I'm going to adjust this other side, because we're still, look at the gap on that. I'll get the other side done and see what it looks like when the pear's sorted out. So I'm battling with the rain a little bit, but this is how it looks so far. It's much better than what it was, obviously. So it's still a little bit high on the front, so I'm going to still drop that down a little bit. But yeah, as is all the rain's come in, it's in and out of the garage. So I could raise it up on the back, but I think what I'm going to do is just lower it down on the front a little bit. Around about another 20mm, I think is going to be the key. So I'm going to jack that up, get it lowered down, back outside as long as it's not raining, and have another look. So I think I finally got it. But although the rain, well, you can't really stop raining now, sun's come back out. The rain's stopping me from putting it outside. So while I'm waiting for it to dry up a little bit, I am going to rebuild all of the cowling, get that all back up together, get the car, yeah, basically all up together, and we'll get it outside, and we'll have a proper look and see what it looks like. So there we have it. What do you think? I think it looks pretty smart. Now it is very, very close on the arches, so the question is, will it rub? Now I do need to change the tyres that are on there, because they are skirting with borderline on how much tread there is left. So I'm going to get those changed, certainly the back ones anyway. And maybe a different tyre will have a slightly rounded shoulder to it, so it might create a little bit more clearance. Now the rears, as I said, I can move inboard a little bit by removing the spacers. It's the fronts that are going to be the concern. If it rubs on the front and I can't fix it, then unfortunately they're going to have to go. But I'm not going to do that until I get the thing out on the road and give it a drive. Now, there's a couple of things I need to do. Like I say, one is change the tyres. I need to get some new wheel nuts, because the Ford wheel nuts are just worst design in the world. They've got an outer casing, they fall apart, just really annoying. So I'm going to get some new wheel nuts to fit on there. And that is about it, I think. So for the time being, I'm going to chuck on my old wheels, go and get an MOT on the car so I can drive around legally, and then it'll be back in the garage, take it apart again, and have a look at the gear linkage. So yeah, if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.